Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. Wow, the fixtures are coming thick and fast. They're relentless. We just played Swansea few days ago, and now here comes Spurs. I mean, Liverpool, Swansea, Spurs, and then I think we have Arsenal the next weekend, and also Champions League game in between. Wow, this fixture list, these matches, these challenges, they seem never ending. So I was just telling you previously that there are two, three phases left in this vital title race. One was against Liverpool, which we won the last time around. Now this is the second vital phase for me against Spurs. The third one is against Man United, obviously, and we'll talk about it a little later in our next streams. But then against Spurs, and on the outset, it might seem that Spurs are down and out. They shipped 5 goals against Everton. They're not at all doing well. They're struggling to put away the teams at the lower half of the table, and also the teams at the upper half of the table. So there's no momentum with them. And we are a team uh, who have a lot of momentum. Today, the Premier League coach of the month has been announced, and it's Pep Guardiola, and the player of the month has been announced. It's Ilkay Gundogan. We have at least two or three players who have been nominated for the player of the month. So we are having so much momentum that even for the most hardcore Spurs fan, it might seem a little bit of an aberration, little bit of a delusion that okay, Spurs might have a chance of winning. But no, you should remember that Jose Mourinho is such a person who really loves when he has his back to the wall. When the world is against him, he's a master at using those situations to motivate his players. Jose Mourinho for me is like a cat that is pushed to the wall. A cat might seem harmless, but when you really push it to the wall, it fights back at you more ferociously than a lion. That is what Jose Mourinho is for me. He has been over the years with Inter Milan when they were down and out against Barcelona. Everywhere he has gone, Jose Mourinho has been that kind of person. He has had that kind of personality. So for me, that is one of the reasons why this game is very, very important. It's one thing getting revenge for the defeat we had at the Spurs stadium, but then if we don't do well in this game, it might just break our momentum. It might give Spurs the much needed momentum. I still refuse to rule Spurs out of the race for competing for the title. Actually, people might think they're too much away, they would not get top 4. Well, it just needs a bit of momentum for a team, and they can put a winning run of 13, 14 matches in a row. You're just back in the title race. So Mourinho is just looking for that momentum from somewhere, and that's one of the reasons why he had played so open against Everton. So this match, I really expect Mourinho to really close everything up, to park a double decker bus and come at us. He will not play open, to set Son and Kane, and if possible even Lucas Moura or Bergwijn on the counter attack. Leave them on the counter attack against us. So a very, very important, and it's also strangely a difficult game for me, because again, like against Sheffield United, we were speaking the last time around. They have their backs against the wall. They've just won against United. Sheffield United, bottom of the table. They have nothing to lose. I always fear these teams who have nothing to lose. When be it football or in life, if you have nothing to lose, then you can just see the best version of the person. Then what does he have to fear? I think that is the exact mindset that Jose Mourinho went into in the Everton game. A lot of Spurs fans I was seeing as well in the social media and everywhere, that they were very angry with Jose Mourinho and all. How can a Jose Mourinho team concede 5 goals? Where is the mentality and all? But Jose Mourinho, he might not be the best coach around, but is certainly still one of the best managers around. So his man management skills, the way he manages people, his personality skills, all are excellent. So he realized that there was nothing to lose for Spurs. It was just falling apart. He didn't want another Man United in Spurs just in a second season. So he just let them out open. This match, if you ask me, will he leave them open? I think this. I think he'll just part the bus this match, because he know the outrage he'll get if he again goes and concedes goals in sixes and sevens, which the City side is capable of scoring. The City side went to Anfield, scored four. Swansea scored three. I mean, City is at least dealing in three and fours at the moment. So Mourinho will park the bus, and I mean he'll park a double decker bus. He'll park the most rigid bus ever he had done. I think because this Spurs job is just slipping away, and Mourinho knows if this job goes, it's very difficult for him to get back into management again, which Premier League, at least in the Premier League. So this match is important for Mourinho just on one front, not just on one front, but on many aspects. So that makes it more. I mean, more the reason for us to go on there and just destroy Spurs, destroy Mourinho, get revenge on Mourinho. Let's look at the formation, which I think this might be a bit surprising for you, especially the front three, because everyone would have, seen the Swansea game. You might have expected that, okay, Riyad Mahrez will start because he came on as a sub. Phil Foden will definitely start, and Gabriel Jesus will start through the middle, because for a striker, goals are important, and Gabriel Jesus is in one of the best striking form. He's almost scored a goal in his last 2-3 matches. So why would Pep want to break that momentum? But then again, Pep is not a person who picks his sides based on momentum or on form or things like that. Pep is someone who sees the opposition, analyzes their strengths, analyzes their weaknesses, and then picks the team. That is that is something which is really unique about Pep. That is one of the reasons that differentiates him from most of the 99% of the managers around him. He chooses teams based on their weaknesses, and how and which player can maximize the strengths of City. So for me, that's the reason why Pep will expect Mourinho to park the bus. So that's the reason why Pep will play with a false nine. There's no way for me tomorrow Gabriel Jesus is starting. It will be a surprise if Jesus is starting, or if Pep thinks that Mourinho is not gonna park the bus, then maybe Jesus will start. But for me, it's Foden starting, and there's a reason why Foden is starting as a false nine. I'll tell you, he can't drop Raheem Sterling because he will need the pace of Raheem Sterling to occupy the defenders. But Pep's trump card in this match. Who will be Pep's trump card in this match? Let me know in the comments below. Will it be Diaz? Will it be Stones? But surprisingly, Pep's trump card in this match for me, he plays, will be the player on the right hand side, be it be Torres or be it be Mahrez. And the reason why I put Torres there is, if Mourinho parts the bus, one of the biggest weapons to unlock a defense sitting in low block is if you have a wide player, if you have a player who can hold the width, which means he'll stretch the defenders, and then your number 10s can, two of your number 10s can run into those spaces. You have your Cancelo who can make a diagonal run from the fullback position into those spaces vacated by the central defenders due to that stretching of the defense by the wingers. So who is the person who can keep the width really well? For me, Raheem Sterling, his strength is cutting in. The strength of Riyad Mahrez is cutting in. Riyad Mahrez many times, Pep has told him to maintain the width, and we have seen him sulking. We have seen him, sulking to hold the width. He grows impatient and all. Leroy Sané used to do this excellently well. People say 2017-18 season was the best for City, and the reason for that is Leroy Sané holding the width, and David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne are making those runs from the deep. So who is the person who can do that job? And I think for me, it's Ferran Torres. He had held the width excellently against Swansea, and that's the reason why Torres will play this game as well. 2 games in a row doesn't matter. Pep will play him for 60-70 minutes and the game, and then maybe he'll bring on Mahrez. Because for me, if you play Jesus, you have to play Foden for sure. You have to play Sterling for sure, and if you play Jesus, it will be like Foden on the left and Sterling on the right, and Sterling is not at his best when he has to hold the width. And also, Torres is one of the best crossers in the Premier League and in world football. The way way he fizzes the ball, not just aerial crosses but also the ground crosses. So the way he fizzes the ball around, the positions he takes up against Sheffield United, a compact low block. Pep played Ferran Torres. It is for a reason. It is not that Torres is a player bang on form and all of that. Pep plays sometimes Bernardo Silva on that side because Pep is struggling a bit, identifying that player who can really hold the width. One of the things in Pep's formations, Pep's lineup is really dynamic, but you have one position that is fixed, which is the right winger position. The player stays there maintaining the width. I mean, he might exchange that position with someone else, but it's kind of a fixed position, and that is one of Pep's weapons to unlock the low block. I mean, that was the reason why we struggled against Spurs at their home early on in the season, because no one Mahrez on one wing and Sterling on other wing, and both of them were cutting in. When both of your wingers cut in and your striker also plays there, it makes everything narrow and so crowded. And that's what Spurs wants. When you have to defend narrow, you don't have to move around so much. Your spaces between center back to center back will be very less. So it's very easy when you defend narrow, but when you have to defend wide, and also when you defend narrow, Kevin De Bruyne puts crosses. Spurs will deal with, or Ilkay Gundogan puts in crosses. Spurs will deal with crosses all day long. All of these teams, all who sit in a low block, they want you to defend narrow. They want you to defend narrow because if you defend wide, it will open spaces. West Brom, what did we do to them? We defended wide. No one knew how to, cover up the spaces. There was so much spaces between the center back and the left back. So Ferran Torres will be the key trump card for me just because he can hold the width. And another interesting thing for me is, do you play Zinchenko at left back and Cancelo at right back, or do you play Walker at right back? For me, the second trump card is Walker is really important at right back because we're dealing with our nemesis, which is Son and Kane. Who will track back Son and Kane? Who is a player who has so much space to track back Son? It's Kyle Walker, and he had a great game against Swansea. It was against Matt Grimes against Swansea. Grimes was very pacey, and Kyle Walker just, showed his burst of pace and everything. So tomorrow Walker is going to be really important defensively, especially because Mourinho's game plan will be that, sit deep and hit City on the counter. A child will say that, but how do you defend against that? How do you defend against Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, against Heung-min Son? What do you do? Walker is going to be really important. And on the left hand side, for me, Zinchenko is out of this match. I'll be very surprised if he plays because Zinchenko for me can't handle the pace of Bergwijn or whoever plays on that side. And if Zinchenko plays, Mourinho will tell Son to operate on that side, go on that side. Zinchenko will be the target. The man is not a natural fullback. Pep plays him because he tucks into the central midfield. So can Cancelo will be really, really important. I will not be surprised if Pep plays Mendy tomorrow. Mendy, the way he was whipping in crosses against Swansea, that was really impressive for me. The power he had and the power he had defensively as well. He did a great job. The power he put on those crosses, the whip, the curl. I still think Mendy, for all his defensive realities, is one of the best fullbacks attacking wise in the Premier League. Attacking wise, sometimes I feel Mendy is better than Robertson as well. So for me on the left hand side, Cancelo plays or Mendy plays. I think it's criminal to leave out Cancelo because he's in so good form. So I mean, Pep could put Mendy on the left hand side and maybe he could put Cancelo in the midfield. You never know. Because Bernardo Silva, I think he's played in our last 3 games. So would Pep give him a rest? It is something which we can think about with Champions League games coming up, with the schedule coming up. So Cancelo might play in the center, or you might never know. Laporte might play there, or Pep might go. Would Pep go with a back three? I don't think, because Pep would, again, we are playing against a low block, so Pep would not like to sacrifice that attacking sense against a low block. So this is the thing for me, and hopefully Diaz recovers from from a little bit of illness that he had. There were four people who were missing from training. One was Diaz due to an illness. Ake, he's still rehabilitating from an unknown injury. I still don't know what that injury is. You have Kevin De Bruyne. Then there's one more player. I just can't seem to remember. Sergio Aguero was back in training, so there was one more player who was not there. So Ruben Diaz, Kevin De Bruyne, and Nathan Ake were the three people who were missing from training. Hopeful and Fernandinho. Yes, Fernandinho was missing from training because when putting in this lineup and formation, I thought I would put in Fernandinho instead of Rodri because in these games which require a bit of guile, which require a bit of that cunning nature, you need to be a bit cunning in this match because counter attack against fast pacey players, you need to break up play. And who's the best at breaking up play? You had your Makelele, Nigel de Jong, and now in modern football in this era, in this decade, Fernandinho is the best at breaking up play. So I really thought Fernandinho will play. Breaking up play is not one of the attributes of Rodri. I have been really critical of Rodri in the past. But as you might have seen, I'm changing my views on Rodri, switching the play better. He moves around the field better. He still doesn't break up play. That's one of my other criticism, but he's improving. His positional sense is much better. The way he uh, gave attacking passes against Swansea, everything's good. But Rodri breaking up play is not one of the key attributes of Rodri. Intelligent fouls. When he does a foul, he gets a card. You see Thiago, for example, against in that United game, he did fouls. He committed at least 10 fouls until he got a card. United fans were just so much frustrated. United fans were telling that when will the referee give a card? Fernandinho, the same thing. Jose Mourinho in his previous press conference was telling that City have intelligent players like Fernandinho who don't get cards and who influence the referees and all of those things. Mourinho is afraid of Fernandinho. That's one thing. We have BSR here telling how is Walker recovered enough to handle the pace of Son and Kane. I'm I mean, you should have seen in the match against Swansea. Wow, the burst of pace he showed was just out of this world. It was against Matt Grimes. He's one of the most paciest players in the championship. Real pace, and he had an head start on Kyle Walker, but Walker just put on his accelerator, his running boots, and he was just incredible. I mean, there were two or three bursts of pace in that game. The physicality for me, Walker's back. I think he's recovered. I mean, we need pace in that team. If Walker's not there, who can go and track back Son? Because the gameplay will be the same. The game plan will be the same. Hong-Min Son, set him up. This match will be all about matchups. I mean, Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho have become great managers because of matchups. They isolate players one on one. Why does Pep maintain width? Because he wants to isolate Sterling against, for example, Trent Arnold in the Liverpool game. Isolation one on one. The same Mourinho does it. Isolate Son against Zinchenko or Son against Kyle Walker, for example, and we need to make sure that we get those one-on-one battles really right. That is one we got really wrong. Mahrez against Regulion in that game early in September, we lost. Mahrez didn't go past Regulion once. Kane against Laporte, we lost Kane against Rodri in that game, Rodri lost. Son against Laporte in that game, Laporte lost. We had lost at least 4 one-on-one battles in that game. Football for me is all about finding space, the positional sense, and winning your one-on-one battles. People say Pep treats the entire football pitch as a set of squares, and it tells, you should be in this square, this is your position, and you'll be in one-on-one against this player. So, one-on-one battles will be the key for me. And yes, if Walker's not recovered, if Walker's not recovered, we are screwed in tomorrow's game. I will say that City has no chance. I will invert the scoreline. This is my match prediction. I will invert the scoreline if Kyle Walker doesn't start tomorrow's game. He's so important. If Walker doesn't start, I don't see us winning the game tomorrow. Walker's so important. Because that Son will be at the back of the last defender. How do you chase the player down? It's just up to Walker. And one more thing, I think Zinchenko, he might play in the midfield as well. That might be a surprise. if Pep wants to put Zinchenko in the place of Bernardo Silva, because we have seen in a few of the previous games, especially after 60, 70 minutes, for example, um, against Sheffield United, I think Pep, put Cancelo in the midfield, and Cancelo gave an assist as well. So I would not be surprised if Pep gives Bernardo Silva a rest and plays Cancelo there. Uh, what do you think about the score prediction? 3-0. Would you agree with me, or and also the formation? What do you think about the formation? Let me know in the comments below. Would you agree with the formation, or do you think that Gabriel Jesus would start or Riyad Mahrez should start? And until you have them in the until you have them in your fantasy team, as some of our viewers here have, and they always keep peppering me about Mahrez, Jesus. Why are you so biased on Mahrez? I'm one of the biggest critic of Mahrez. He does nothing. He does shit. He just screws us up always. Always wants to come inside Mahrez and does nothing. BSR says, what if Diaz is not fit? That will be a concern, because I was just watching that Everton game, and Son was putting in so many crosses. Spurs scored 3 goals. People say Spurs scored 4 goals. It was a farce, because 3 of those goals were headers. So Spurs were not that open as the scoreline seemed. It was just a farce. It was just lucky for Mourinho. Mourinho was doing his same old thing. So if Diaz doesn't play, not just the headers, for me headers is a concern, and the organizational skills. When City were losing against Charlton in that FA Cup game, what did Pep do? He didn't bring on an attacker. He bought in Diaz, he studied the ship back, and then he bought in his attackers like Foden. So Diaz, for me, not just from a defensive point of view, of course Laporte can play, is one of the best defenders. Then organization point of view, who will organize the defense, set pieces. From when Diaz came into this team, not many free kicks have gone past our wall. Most of the free kicks have stuck our wall. None of the opposing teams have scored from their corners. Captainship material. 3 games back against West Brom, I think City scored the first. No, against Aston Villa, City scored the first goal, and Diaz was like, he was peppering the team up. He was giving them a pep talk. You should do this, you should do that. So organizational skills is something which we will miss with Diaz, I think. But then, if Diaz is not fit, it will be a concern for me. Let's just hope that is fit, especially for this game more than ever. Walker and Diaz, because if Diaz doesn't play, it might affect Stones as well. How Stones played alongside Otamendi, and also alongside Laporte as well, alongside Garcia. Stones is half the defender when Diaz is not there. The backline is half of our backline when Diaz is not there. So for me, Diaz, Walker, and Rodri are really important, and that player on the right hand side who can hold the width, Ferran Torres, or whoever plays there should hold the width, hold the bloody width. I get so frustrated seeing Riyad Mahrez. It doesn't hold the bloody width. He always tries to cut inside. There's a small space, and 3 of them want to play there. Sterling wants to go there. Jesus plays there. And that is the reason why we were unsuccessful in the first 3-4 months of this season. All of the people wanted to play there. Those 3-4 months in September, October, City was not performing well. You just go back and see the team sheet. Pep was playing Mahrez, Pep was playing Sterling, Pep was playing Jesus, all of those players, and Bernardo Silva as well, cutting in, not maintaining the width. It was so boring, so lethargic. That's what I do in FIFA all the time, just cut in. So no space, teams defending narrow. That has never been the attribute of Pep Guardiola's teams. Barcelona, Pedro holds the width. Bayern Munich, people hold the width. Same thing, hold the width. That is important. That's why City were playing well that time also, but we were not holding the bloody width. We were not playing according to the principles of Guardiola. That's why people ask me in the transfer window, what do you think? Whom should we sell? I tell people, sell Riyad Mahrez. Doesn't do his job. He drifted to the right hand side from the left, to the left hand side from the right hand side. In that game when we lost against Spurs, in that game when we drew 1-1 against West Brom early on in the season, Mahrez was drifting all around the pitch. From going from this side to that side, wanting to hit a goal, dribbling more, taking shots on. One of the other change from Mahrez is that he's not dribbling more, he's just passing. These are the small attributes that have really disrupted the engine at the start of the season. That's why this match, Torres is key. Torres is really key. Hold the width, hold the bloody width. City lose, that's just watch out in the match. That is one of the big reasons why we will lose. Hold the width. Walker, the burst of pace. Joao Cancelo, the left hand side, how he handles Lucas Moura, Bergwijn. I expect Pep to play Lucas Moura in this game with his pace, with his heading ability, and all of those things. What is your prediction for this game? Let me know in the comments below. I think for me this game is 3-0. I expect City to maintain the clean sheet. Uh, Clean sheet because we are playing against a low block, and I don't expect Spurs to chip in more goals. If Spurs will score goals, it will be from set pieces. That's an excellent point raised by BSR. What if Diaz is not fit? I mean, Spurs have very good headers of the ball, and organization is very important. And Diaz for me will be a real key in this game. So my prediction is 3-0. Let me know your prediction in the comments below, and I'll come back to you after the game. Let's just hope that City keep this momentum going. It's really important for us not to give a sniff, to United. United 5 points are nothing actually. Pep said in his previous press conference. I say that even 8 points, 7 points are nothing. Just imagine 2018-19 season. Liverpool were 4 5 points ahead of us after we defeated them at Etihad. And still, City managed to win the league that time. It's just about momentum. If United catch the momentum, Chelsea are slowly picking the momentum up. I still fear, the title's not done. I still fear momentum. I've always been saying in the stream, momentum is the key this season. Momentum is the key. The Premier League leaders have changed hands 9 times. There have been 9 different teams at the top of the league because of change of momentum. Chelsea, Spurs, United, all of them have not been able to maintain momentum. So momentum will be the key this season. A season that is extraordinary, a season that is plagued by injuries, keeping players fit. That's why Pep plays Gundogan, Pep plays Silva, Pep plays Foden in almost all his games. That's one of the big reasons. Momentum will be the key. Let's hope that City do the job tomorrow. I expect 3-0. That is my prediction. Uh, I hope that you have enjoyed the video. Please click on the like button if you have enjoyed the video, and also click on the bell icon so that you get notifications whenever I put in new videos. I mean, I'll come up with new videos almost after every match. We'll be covering Pep's press conferences. We'll be talking about City's latest news, City's transfer news, everything over here. Countini has a question here. If Diaz isn't fit, who's gonna drag players by their head during free kicks? City need him to be fit. Well, that's why I don't have Zinchenko here, right? Drag Zinchenko's head during the free kicks. I mean, Zinchenko for me, he doesn't play tomorrow because he can't handle the physicality and all, like I've been talking about. But then that it was a tongue-in-cheek comment, but that comment is very interesting because Kandania was telling about the organizational skills of Diaz. Exactly, that's one of the biggest organizational skills of Diaz. Dragging Zinchenko's hair. Who does that? Which captain in the entire Premier League does that? That to a captain who is just 23 years old. Who does that? Diaz does that. He has the audacity to do that. That's another prime example of what a great leader we have got, what a great defender we have got. People say Van Dijk has been a great influence on Liverpool. Diaz has been a great influence on the entire Premier League for me, on the way, people are defending, on the way, people are organizing their set pieces. Diaz has had a profound effect if you observe. So the leadership skills and everything. So for me, it's really important that Diaz is fit. So have a nice day and take care, and let's hope that this 3-0 score line will hold. See you.